Welcome on to this edition of Up. We're talking all things Comrades Marathon as we head towards the 2026 Comrades Marathon Up Run. And as you've probably picked up on by now, this time of the year, we're not talking too much training in the build-up to Comrades 2026. We're talking more stories and getting some interesting people on the podcast around Comrades, talking a little bit about their journey, what they're up to, what their plans are, and what they do outside of running Comrades as well. And today is one of those special guests. If you are anywhere near the interwebs, you'll know exactly who our next guest is because he is all over the Instagram streets, the Twitter streets. He is everywhere, and it's a great pleasure to welcome him onto the podcast today. Sipho Marima. Sipho, welcome. Nice to finally meet you. I say meet you online, but nice to finally have a chat. I feel like I know you. It's almost like we get that with people who follow the stuff at Coach Parry because they watch and consume everything, but I feel that way about you. So nice to touch base.
I exactly feel the same way about you. I feel like we've had this conversation 1,000 times because I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. So it feels like we've had this conversation before.
Exactly. It's been a long time coming. Sipho, before we sort of dig into your Comrades journey and a little bit about your Comrades story, for anybody who's been living under a rock and don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I think it's I'm a very simple guy. I'm born and raised in Guyana, in Limpopo. I came to Joburg about 16 years ago to further my studies. I used to be a soccer player from primary high school, varsity. I had a knee injury when I was 20 years old, so I had to stop playing soccer. I went to work in the gym industry. I've been working in the gym industry now for about 14 years. And then in 2017, I was challenged to do a 21-kilometer run. And I went to do that 21-kilometer run just for the challenge, just to prove a point. And after that race, I was like, oh, this thing feels nice. Let me sign up for another one of these things. And that's how I became a runner.
I love it. See, a lot of people actually don't know this, but I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. But Coach Parry as a business, obviously Lindsay had been coaching before him and I went into business together. But Coach Parry as a business started as a podcast. This is many years ago. And the OGs who've been around what we do for a long time, the podcast used to be called Ask Coach Parry, and it was started in Limpopo, of all places. Lindsay and I were holed up in a hotel room in Polokwane, of all places. And that's where this business started. So apparently all good things come out of Polokwane. Come out of Limpopo, I should say.
Okay, I see. Limpopo is where the things begin. I see.
Apparently. Let's touch on, I mean, obviously you get challenged to do a half marathon. It's a big step up from half marathon to Comrades. Talk to me a little bit about that journey. When did Comrades first come onto your radar? When did you decide or think, you know what, that's something I'd actually like to do?
So after that half marathon, I signed up for another one. That was 2017, mid-2017. And then 2018, someone said, try a marathon, man. You've done a 30-kilometer long run. I went in, I tried a marathon. My first marathon was Val River in September 2018. And I did 4:26. And then one of the guys I was training with said to me, and at that time I used to drink, I used to smoke. And one of the guys said to me, you know, if you can stop the smoking and the drinking and you focus on this running thing, you can actually finish Comrades. I was like, what is Comrades? It's like this 90-kilometer race where every runner aspires to do, you know. I was like, 90 kilometers? Nah. He said, no, you can't. And then after that, I went to do Kapsa in November, and I did a sub 4. After that sub 4, someone said to me, if you don't do Comrades, you wouldn't be doing justice to yourself. I said, okay, sign me up for this Comrades thing. And that's how I signed up for my first Comrades in 2019.
I love it. And the rest is history. How many have you done now? I know you ran 2025, and what's the total now?
I've done 5 now.
You see, you got sucked into this cult as well, Sipho. Like you should have stopped at 2 when you could have quit. Now you're halfway to 10 and there's no going back.
And you know, I always said, when I started, I said I'm gonna do 1, and I'm done with this thing. Then after I did 11 hours, I said, okay, let me try better my time. Then I'll stop. Then I did 8:25. I said, you know what? I need a silver. Let me get a silver. And then I got my first silver. I was like, but you can't just get 1 silver. It's a fluke. You need to get another one.
That's how you get sucked into these things. That it sounds. Yeah. I've heard this story so many times, but it's just so funny hearing it from different people. Sipho, you're obviously gifted. I say gifted. You obviously chose your parents correctly. You've got pretty good running genes. You've got some ability, which is great. But the interesting thing is you're not you consider yourself a hybrid athlete, which I absolutely love the term, because I think too few people focus on strength training and don't try and get physically stronger. Tell me a little bit about sort of your thoughts on being a hybrid athlete, like, and why it's so important for you from a strength perspective too.
I think I've had the pleasure or the privilege to start my career in the gym. So I started working in the gym when I was about 21, 22 years old. So that, it came with a lot of education from a strength training point of view, how strength is good for sports people, not only runners, whether soccer players, whether it's a golfer, whether it's a cricket player. So I got exposed to that knowledge at a very young age. So when I became a runner, especially a runner who started chasing targets, I understood what strength training does for me. And things like, for instance, like Hyrox, it helps me to stay engaged with strength training. Because some people say, I can't go to the gym, gym can be boring, I don't know what I'm training for. I'm like, okay, here's Hyrox. Now you have a goal. It now balances the running and the strength training. So for me, I feel like everything supports the other. If you're doing long distance running and you've got weak quads and you're doing a down at Comrades, you know what's going to happen after 70 kilometers. They're going to die on you. And once I understood those things, if you're running a flat marathon, your hamstrings and your calves are going to die on you. They're not strong. Your lower back, So once I understood those things, I decided I need to find something within the strength training environment that keeps me going. And I think Hyrox became just the thing for me.
Yeah, I want to dig into Hyrox too, because obviously there's a massive explosion around it, and you are sort of competing as well, which we'll get into in a bit more detail. But I want to just dig a little bit into the strength thing too, though, Sipho, because runners are funny things. We do what we love doing, which is obviously running, and anything outside of running we don't want to do because we just want to run. But strength, from a running perspective, you mentioned like the weak quads and the impact that does on the down run. But I mean, with the up run coming next year, strength for the ups makes a massive difference too.
It does. It definitely does. I think for me, it doesn't matter whether it's an up run, down run, flat course. I think strength training makes a very huge difference in your running. There's something that we call it, we just give it a name, we call it the targeted training program. So where you target a specific muscle. So you go to the gym today, you target the hamstring. Tomorrow you go target the quads. Next day, lower back. Just like the bodybuilders do, leg day, chest day. So we do that for running. There's days where we target the calves, because as you run, your whole body, each and every muscle has a part to play in your running. So if there's a muscle that is weaker, it's not going to be able to play the part. And when one muscle pulls back, some of the other muscles can't be able to carry that muscle, And I mean, in 2022, I did Comrades. And one of the things that I think I lacked, I did 825. I wanted silver. One of the things that I lacked was, the first one was mileage. My current coach, Coach Bongani, told me that mileage was very low for my mileage. Secondly, strength training. I was not doing enough strength. I was running every day. We hammer. And then I was fortunate enough that immediately after that Comrades, I was introduced to a group of guys, the skinny gang guys, and they introduced mileage. And then I was introduced to guys who do physical training. They introduced me to strength. I combined the two, and my running changed.
Yeah, see, it's interesting because obviously it does make you a better runner, but I don't think runners understand the impact strength training has on injury prevention. And I mean, Lindsay, if you've watched any of our Comrades webinars, you'll know the stat that 68% of runners who start Comrades with an injury don't finish, and that injury prevention bit is a huge thing, especially for long distance runners. And strength is the thing that helps that.
Muscles break down when we run. And that's the reason why we take protein recoveries to help with such. Muscles break down when we run, and there's something called muscle endurance as well. And those things are sort of strengthened or they become better with strength training. It's like, I'll give an example. Each and every injury is connected to a certain muscle. And that's something that we as runners ignore. If you feel a needle, for instance, on your knee, on the left side of your knee, there's a certain muscle that's connected to that. It might be your glute. And I went to the physio the one time I was in Cape Town, and she told me there's a smaller part of my glute that's weak. I mean, I'm one person who goes to the gym and I squat proper, I do strength training. But she told me there's a smaller part of my glute that is weak. And she gave me this other wall exercise. It's a tiny little exercise, but the impact is huge. So we tend to ignore the fact that each and every needle and pain is connected to a certain muscle. And if we can just strengthen that particular muscle, no matter how big, no matter how small, it can help with injury prevention.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about a gym, but I mean, the truth of the matter is you don't have to do the strength training to become a better runner in a gym. I mean, we are huge advocates here at Coach Parry of body weight exercises. Obviously, as you progress, I mean, when you start out strength training, you're not going to be bench pressing 150 kilograms or leg pressing tons. You've got to start where you're at and build up slowly. And for the vast majority of runners who don't do strength training, body weight stuff is more than enough to get started with. And you don't have to do that in a gym, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like gyms, and the reason they don't do strength training is because they don't want to go to gym.
Absolutely. I mean, if you check out some of the videos I post, most of them is either body weight or functional training. Body weight in the sense that you could go to a track and do your Monday easy run and then do your strength training right there on the track. I mean, there's so many exercises one can do that don't have to use equipment, where you can use body weight. You can do functional training without equipment. So I think it's sometimes it's just the lack of knowledge. Obviously, because people, when you think strength training, you think strength gym. And that's why most of the time I will post exercises that do not require equipment, because I know that most of the people who consume my content, most of them are not in the gym. They are runners and they are on the road running. So if there's something you can do wherever you are at whatever time, then you can do it.
And some of us have got more body weight than others, so the strength you get from pushing your own body weight is enormous.
It's like a push-up, to work on your chest. There's no exercise that works on your chest better than a push-up, and that's body weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Your glute is squat, and that's body weight. Your quads is a lunge, and that's body weight.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then if you do need to add a bit of extra weight, you can pick up a bottle of water to use as a dumbbell, that sort of thing. There's lots of ways around it.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to go to a gym or a Virgin Active or have a membership at a gym in order to do strength training. Let's go into Hyrox now. Sipho, it's so funny that there's always these trends sort of outside of running that things get big and then they wane and then they get big. And I think when I first started running, which was in the early 2010s, and it's probably waned a little bit here in South Africa, but like everybody was wanting to do an Ironman or a half Ironman, and then that sort of waned off a little bit. CrossFit has been massive. The thing at the moment is Hyrox. Hyrox is the thing that's getting a lot of attention. I know you've been doing quite a bit. What is it that attracts you to something like Hyrox?
For me, firstly, it's because the whole gym experience. Like I said, I've been in the gym industry for 14 years. And I think in the 14 years, as people who go to the gym, I don't think people who go to the gym have had any sort of competition to look forward to. Runners have always had Comrades, Two Oceans, Sanlam, Soweto, whatever race. There's so many races. So runners actually so many options. As people who go to the gym and do strength and CrossFit, there were competitions, but I don't think, well, to my knowledge, I don't know as many that gave people options. So Hyrox came with that. It came with a lot of excitement. It came with a lot of endurance as well, because most people who go to gym, they don't like running. They don't want to run. So now this challenges you to run as well. Most people who run, especially shorter distances, they don't like doing the strength. So it combined the two. So the reason why I took part in Hyrox, like for me, it was, I'm a long distance runner. I need to always do strength training. And what better way to make sure I do strength training than to compete in Hyrox? Because I'm doing strength training. So, when I was in Cape Town, one of the guys said to me, "I'm sure you're here to win." I said, "Listen, I'm here to train. I'm training, making sure my body, my physique is proper for my next training block." And Hyrox has given that opportunity to a lot of us,
For people who don't know Hyrox as an event, sort of talk us through what you need to do, because it's pretty hectic.
It is. I mean, it's 8 stations. So you've got 8 stations. You've got rowing. You've got the ski. You've got pushing the sled. You've got pulling the sled. You've got kettlebell, farmer's carry. You've got sandbags. You've got wall balls, which is my worst nightmare. I I promise you, when I go to the World Boss Station, which is the last station, and you have to run 1 kilometer in between each and every exercise.
Yeah, that's pretty important too, to remember that.
And you actually think, because I'm a runner, I've done Comrades, I've done Oceans, what is 1 kilometer? I promise you, after lunges and you have to do 1 kilometer, it's the longest kilometer ever. I think I was averaging 440 or 445. I thought I was going to do like 350. Listen, nothing. I got to the World Boss Station, my time was 1:15. My finish time is 1:21. So it tells you now the World Balls are spent the entire 6 minutes there. And it's 100 World Balls. And the referees there, if the ball doesn't hit the target, they say no rep. And you have to squat all the way down. It was my biggest nightmare. But I enjoyed it. I think it's a great social event. It's very tough, so it's challenging. There's a lot of satisfaction when you're done with it, and that's one thing I love about it. When you're done with it, you feel like a superhero, just like when you're done with Comrades and Two Oceans.
Mm. Yeah, and the cool thing, what I like about Hyrox too, Sipho, is there's obviously individual, but you can also do it as a team, which is quite fun.
You can even do it as relay. You can even do it as a team of 4. One person does 2 exercises, so it's a sport for everyone. So if you feel like, okay, my level of fitness doesn't allow me to do this alone, you get a partner, you guys do it together. You share the reps in the stations, but you don't share the run. Everyone must run. You don't share the run. Everyone must do the 1 kilometer. If you feel like, okay, we are not there yet, we get 4 people, we go there, we do, the relay. That's what I'm saying. It's a social event. It accommodates everyone, and I think that's what it's making Hyrox so enjoyable for most people. There's competitors, there's guys who go there for competition to win, just like every race. However, the bigger part of it is a social aspect of it for people who go to gym. They haven't had anything that excites or they look forward to.
So who makes the better Hyrox athlete? Sipho, is it the runner who has the strength, or is it the strength athlete who runs a little bit?
From my experience, I stand to be corrected. From my experience, the strength athlete who can run makes a better Hyrox athlete. And I say this from my experience. Pushing the sled was a challenge. Pulling the sled was a challenge. Wall balls were a big challenge on my upper body. So if you're a strength guy and you're good on those stations and you can run well, I think you have the upper hand. Because as a runner, I don't have the upper hand. I have a slightly upper hand on the running, but after the lunges and all that doesn't make a huge difference. So from my own experience, I think the strength guy who can run has the upper hand.
It'll be interesting if I had to ask a strength guy that question, which I'm sure
they'll
if
probably
somebody
say the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. If there's anybody who's into Hyrox who comes from a strength background before running, I'd love to know in the comments if that is the case, or do they feel that runners have an unfair advantage because they have a running background? It'll be super, super interesting.
Actually, most people when I landed in Cape Town said to me, most of the Hyrox guys, like the strength guys, they said, no, you have an unfair advantage. You're coming here with your running endurance, you're gonna show us flames. And in my head, I said, yeah, probably, but the strength side of Hyrox competition, don't take it for granted. Like even the ski, it's something that looks so easy. But doing that at 1,000 meters and rowing, it looks easy. But the strength it takes for someone like me who does strength training 2 to 3 times a week, and my strength training is more focused strength training, unlike someone who is a Hyrox athlete, the strength is not the same. So, but someone else might have a different view.
Yeah, one thing I love about it too, is it gives you. I mean, Comrades is obviously something you love. You wouldn't have done 5 if you didn't love Comrades. But what I dig about something like Hyrox, and particularly where it was the one that you've just done in Cape Town, is it gives you the opportunity to keep training. I mean, Lindsay and I did a podcast a while ago that like the biggest needle mover when it comes to running is consistency and training all year round. But what something like Hyrox does is it breaks up your training, that you're not just focusing on Comrades all the time, that it gives you a physical break to do something else. So it's making you stronger, although you are still running, and it gives you a mental break. It's training for Comrades 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year is mentally tough. It is hard. And having something like this, whether it's Hyrox, whether it's CrossFit Games, whether it's training for a half Ironman, it keeps you going. but it takes the focus off of what your long-term goal is around Comrades. If you're over 50 and want to recover from sessions faster, run pain and injury-free, and improve your endurance, then be sure to join Lindsay and I for our upcoming Faster Beyond 50 Masterclass. In it, we'll show you how we helped a 70-year-old run a 47-minute, 18-second 10K, and how you can take those exact same principles and apply them in your training. Simply scan the QR code that's on screen right now, or click on the link in the description below to save your seat in the training now. We look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely. I love how you put it there. And that's exactly what I said when I signed up for Hyrox. It was immediately after Comrades. And I said, I need to stay active. I need to keep running. Hyrox has running. I need to keep on doing strength. Hyrox has strength. But I need to take away the mentality of targets in my head. I just want to go. You know, we go to Cape Town for Oceans and Cape Town, and that's targets. I just want to go to Cape Town and do something else that is not as focused as I would be as a runner. You know, and that's why even the second half of the year now, I said to myself, I'm not chasing any targets. I'm running for experience the second half of the year, because I'm trying to sort of step back from the train for target, because at some point it gets mentally taxing and you don't enjoy the sport.
Yeah.
So this second half of the year, I think I have 3 international races. All of them, I'm not chasing a target, including Sanlam. I'm going there for the experience. I'm going to be in Uganda for 10 days. It's going to be a great experience. I'm going to be in Zambia for 5 days. Great experience. I'm going to be in Lesotho for 5 days. Great experience. I'm just chasing experience. I'm going to come back to chase again when I do 2 oceans. I just want a break from the 7 days a week target, 7 days a week time, you know, and Hyrox offers definitely that, especially to us runners.
Yeah, and especially when you then start in January, when the real Comrades training actually starts building up, and then the last 12 weeks before Comrades, you're going into that sort of excited again, as opposed to getting to that point in January where you're going, oh, I don't want to have to go on another run, because you've sort of, I always joke about hanging out on the dark side. You've messed around and cheated on Comrades a bit in the second half of the year, but it makes you mentally strong and ready when the training starts in the new year. So yeah, that is awesome. Talk about Comrades for a moment. Obviously, like I said, you've done 5, so you do love Comrades. What is it about Comrades for you that is so special that keeps you coming back for more?
I think if I were to pick one thing, I don't think I'll be able to pick one. Comrades has taught me a lot, and there's a lot of things that I love about it. I just love the fact that it has proven to me that if I want something, I have to work for it. And when there's progress in life, every little bit of effort leads towards progress. You know, coming from an 8-hour Comrades time to now 3-time silver medalist, it took small efforts every single day, and I take that and apply it in my everyday life. You know, whatever it may be, that whether it's work, whether it's whatever it may be that I want to achieve, small efforts lead to progress. And that's one thing I love about Comrades. It keeps my mind engaged when it comes to that. You know, the satisfaction after you cross that finish line, it's unexplainable. I always say your first Comrades will always be your best one. And maybe again, someone might differ, but on my experience, my first one is my best Comrades, because I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know what I was doing. Every feeling was for the first time, even though I still get the same feelings now with my second, third, and fourth. But the fact that I was feeling that feeling for the first time makes that Comrades a special one. But yeah, if I were to mention one thing, I'd say Comrades has just taught me that life owes me nothing. Nobody owes me anything. If I want something, I need to get up, I need to go get it. And getting it doesn't mean I'm going to go get it now and fetch it. It might take me a year, but every day I need to put in efforts towards me getting what I want. And that's what Comrades has taught me.
Yeah, see, well, it's funny that the way you put it, that Comrades owes you nothing and life owes you nothing. And I think that is such a valuable lesson that I think everybody needs to learn. And Comrades definitely does teach you that, because you can't get a Comrades medal unless you actually do the work. Like, no one's going to get it for you. Like, it is. And one thing I love about Comrades, and it ties into that, is I'm a firm believer that anybody can run that race. I mean, I am living proof that anybody can run that race. I understand that people have got challenges, but like, if someone can go from on their couch 165 kgs to finishing Comrades, I think anybody can run Comrades. And just, it's hard enough that it makes you doubt that you are able to do it. but it is doable enough. And I don't want to say easy enough because there's nothing easy about Comrades. It's doable enough that if you are willing to persevere and keep going, you can get there. And you might fail along the way, which is life. That is the way life is. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. And I love that about Comrades. So it is a great metaphor for life, and particularly life in South Africa, because let's be honest, nothing is handed to us here in South Africa. We've got to work for everything. And that's what makes living in this place so amazing.
Absolutely. And I love how you said, it's tough that you look at it, you're like, nah, I don't think I can do that. And then as you see yourself progress every day and become better, that feeling is so great. And you take that same mentality and you apply it in your everyday life. You're like, okay, I didn't think I could start this business. Let me start somewhere. Just like I couldn't believe I could run Comrades, I started somewhere. And every day I'm becoming better and better. So in my business, let me start. And every day I'll become better and better and better. And then 6 months, 10 months down the line, like, I can't believe that's me. Because 10 months back, I couldn't even run 5Ks. And now I've lost so much weight. I can run longer without stopping. It's like you say, it ties into so many aspects of life. And that's one thing I love about the Comrades Marathon. It's someone asked me how would I compare Comrades and trail, and I said, for me, they give me different feelings. Trail gives me time alone. I get to spend time alone on the mountains, and I think and I reflect and I refresh. And if I go there with a problem and I don't come back with a solution, then I let it go, And then Comrades give me that satisfaction, and it teaches me lessons that I can apply into my everyday life, and that's why I always try to balance between the two.
Yeah, it's so funny talking. I mean, I love talking about Comrades like this as well. And often people will look at Comrades runners and go, how can you? Because I don't think there's many other races that people do this. Like, how can somebody, and I think of Louis Massain as an example, like what drives somebody to do the same race every single year for 50 years of their life? I mean, and Louis is not the only one. There's lots of runners who have run 40 Comrades and 30 Comrades. And what is it that keeps people coming back and doing that over and over? And it's all consuming. It's not like you're training for a 10K and it's 3 months and then you can get on with your life. I mean, running that many Comrades is like a lifetime commitment. And I often just think that, particularly in South Africa, there's so much going on here that we have to deal with from a day-to-day basis that is out of our control. And it could be the circumstances that we live in. It could be the marriage that we're in and things aren't going well with our spouse. It could be financial issues, that we've lost a job and we don't have money. And we get beaten from all sides in South Africa. And I always think that Comrades is one of those things that we can control. It's hard. It's as hard as living in South Africa, but we can control it. So it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It's one day a year where I get goosebumps talking about it. It's one day in a year where you can control and you can feel like a winner. And absolutely. I think that's what brings people back year after year after year to this race. It's just that it's hard to put into words, people, but you've done it and you understand it. I think that you can only understand it once you've done it. But it's that sort of thing that Comrades gives you the ability to feel like Dijanetete or Khadestein. Doesn't matter what time you finish.
Absolutely.
I mean,
when you say, like you said, when you say that, I get goosebumps, because every single time when I'm running Comrades, especially when I get to about 30, 35 Ks and I start feeling warm, I always say to myself, and I did it this year, I always say, nothing and no one can take this moment away from me. Nothing. I don't care what is it. It might be a loss of income. It might be a problem I'm going through. There's nothing that can take away this moment from me right now. So from here to that finish line, I'm having a good time. And I'm enjoying it. And I feel like that is so special because, like you said, we go through a lot of things that we can't control, that can be easily taken away from us. And with Comrades, Comrades just says to you, it's like that race looks at us and says, listen, this is yours. This is yours to enjoy. No one can take it away. You have to work for it, yes, but I'm giving it to you. But the only way I'm going to give it to you is if you work for it. And when you work for it and you're running that race, that feeling, it's unexplainable. And I think every time after the race, we're like, I think next year I'm skipping it. I've been saying that for the past 2 years. After my first season, I said, I think next year I'm going to skip it. when the registrations open, I'm the first one to go online, be like, hey, before the system crashes, I need to make sure, and that's the feeling we go for. That's the feeling we chase.
Yeah, it's the reason I was back after 12 years this year, Sipho, is exactly that. It was like I managed to break that cycle of abuse that Comrades puts you through for 12 years, but
I'm still
I'm
going
back.
through it. I'm still going through it. I think I'm going to go through it for the next 5 years, get my green number, and then I'm going to call you to help me to break it.
The problem is once you've got the green number, is you can't not run in your green number. People like no one's going to see it. It's going to sit at home in your cupboard. You have to run in your green number, and then once you run 11, you're closer to like you're more than halfway to 20. So that's how I always joke. This is a cult. You have been sucked in. That's it.
I see. That's a good point. Everybody has to see my green number. That's a good point.
Exactly. Have you run the Perfect Comrades yet?
Perfect Comrades. 2023. 2023, my first silver. My first silver was my Perfect Comrades. Paced it the way my coach said I must pace it. Trained for it so hard. And I think because I missed the silver the year before by an hour, I had that in me, that, I was like, nah, I have to go get it. That race, I think from start up until 70, I was in control. When I got to 70, I was like, nah, this thing is in. Started picking up my pace. And I got to about 85. I was like, I still feel so fresh. I still feel good. So I feel like that was my Perfect Comrades. This year's Comrades, I took a mature decision, and then I had a great Comrade. This year's Comrades, I wanted to go for sub 7. But when I got to 20Ks, so the plan was to do 455 and 450 for the first 20Ks, and then from 20 I can tap into 430. I did 1 kilometer at 430, and immediately right there, I know my body, I know myself. I was like, there's no way I'm going to run 430 for the next 70Ks. So what's more important, sub 7 or a third silver? I said, what's more important is a silver. I said, okay, we're going back to 455 and we're locking in a silver. And from 20K, I mean, if you look at my Comrades videos, I was smiling each and every video because I was in control. I was running 455. I started feeling pains after 75, normal running pains, but I enjoyed that race. There was no pressure on myself. But I still want the sub 7, probably the year after next year.
Yeah, and the problem is once you've got the sub 7 on either the up or the down, you've got to go back and get it on the other one. And that's how this thing works, is it just keeps you coming back because you just never have, you've got to try and get the perfect on the up and the down, and it's so difficult to do. It's
tough. I said once I have the up silver, I'm done chasing. And last year I did 2 oceans. I did my first 2 oceans and I did silver. And 6 weeks later, I went to do the up run Comrades. I did my first silver on an up run. After that, I was like, you know what? I'm done with the silvers. Let's go chase experience. And then Comrades came. I was like, nah, I have 2 silvers, guys. Why can't we make it silver up until green number? And then the new challenge comes up. We always find something to chase. I don't know what's wrong with us.
I love it. Sipho, I can talk to you for days about this. I just love your spirit. I love your attitude. I love the content you create online. You add such value to the running community. So, I just want to acknowledge you. We appreciate you. We love you. And if people want to find out more about you, follow you, where can they find you online?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm so humble. Thank you for having me. I mean, I started running in 2017, 2018, like I said, and always been a huge follower and a huge fan of the work that you guys do there by Coach Perry Business. And thank you. Being here as a guest, it means a lot to me. People can follow me at Sipho_Marima on all my social media platforms. It's Sipho_Marima. And like you said, I share genuine, honest content about running, what running means to me, and what running is, what running does for me, and where I can help, I do help. And I'm still a baby in the running business. I'm still a baby. There's a lot of people I learn from, like you guys. So as I learn, I share, and the journey continues.
Awesome stuff. Sipho, we will see you at a race soon, I'm sure. Happy travels. I know you've got some cool things lined up for the second bit of this year, and we look forward to sharing the start line and the Comrades route with you again in 2026.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Keep well.